नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामि। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौरभक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jayam Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtadhara Sadasi Srimad Bhai Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Silodas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Samagunda Radha Krishna Dhaam ki jai, Nava Mathura Dhaam ki jai, Mayapur Navadvip Dhaam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Bhagavad Path kari, Sruta kari, Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and mothers, dear devotees, thank you for joining this wonderful session of every Wednesday we do Bhagavad Gita 1 hour. So we are in chapter 9, and for last month plus we're doing this because once a week. We're going slowly, but we are trying to understand. So Bhagavad Gita has a 3 division: karma, mixed bhakti, and first 6 chapter, the last 6 chapter is Jnana mixed bhakti, and then in the middle is pure bhakti emphasized. And within the middle 6 chapter, chapter 9 is very dear to many devotees. I love chapter 9 personally. So it's beautiful that we are doing this, taking a little time. So let us chant 3 times, invoking the mercy of Lord Vasudev by chanting this mantra so that our consciousness remain clear to perceive the Lord's presence through his words in Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Nasta Prayeshu Avadreshu Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukhaṁ Karati Vācālam Pangurlangayate Girim Jatkipatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So, dear Prabhus and mothers, this is the easy way for me to understand in a dialogue form, because it was a dialogue form in the battlefield of Kurukshetra before the war began. So Lord Krishna having conversation, it's an emergency. Just imagine, 1,000 people sat down to eat. Prasadam is cooked, but no prasad is coming out to distribute. And everybody would be wondering what happened. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Very concerned. So Bhagavad Gita began, the war began by blowing conch shell, but then Arjuna had a breakdown. He sat down, he said he's not going to fight. So this conversation came to this point where Krishna reveals that you need to know the supreme result. So then Arjuna asked the question, how would I know the secret, supreme secret of life? Is there the easiest process? And Lord Krishna revealed a very interesting confidential way. He says, Idam tute gyuyatamam prabhakshami anusuyave jnanam vijnanam sahitam jat gyatta mokshase shubhat ashubhat. Idam tute guyatamam. I will reveal this confidential knowledge to you. Now question come, why Arjuna? What about me? Pran Govinda Das or anybody? What about us? Can we know the confidential? Well, Krishna gives a little criteria. He says, Prabhakshami Anusuyave, yes, I'll reveal to you. Why? Anusuyave, because you have no envy towards me. But when we talk about envy, everybody heard that word, just like these professors told me personally, and you have said, Govind, I'm not envious to God. I said, okay. You read Bhagavad Gita? He said, yes. I said, do you know 529 Krishna says, I am the enjoyer. Did you offer your food to God before you eat? What's got to do with the envy? I said, I'm just asking you a simple question. He said, why do I have to offer to God? I earned money. I got my paycheck and with that I bought it and I ate. What got to do with this envious of God? I said, Krishna claims, and he is supreme enjoyer. In other words, you have no right to enjoy anything until you offer him. Well, that doesn't make sense. Why do I have to offer him? He said, because you're challenging, you have an enviousness. You could approach how to understand that everything, literally everything, he is the owner. He deserved to get first worship, first offering, then you take as his mercy. So anyway, the discussion went, and at the end he said, like, this is too much. Why God is claiming like this? See, when you challenge like this means you have a resentment. You don't want God to have his own position. But he is by himself for himself. So Krishna says in the beginning of 9th chapter, because you are non-envious, I will reveal this confidential knowledge to you. And when you receive this knowledge, when we hear the same thing, we apply in our life. Jnanam, Vijnanam. Vijnanam means when we apply. If we don't apply, it never become realized. Just by hearing, it will not realize. Hearing means we have to srinata shraddhaya nittam grinantasya sachestitam. Grinantasya means you have to accept it. How do you accept? You have to contemplate. What am I hearing? What am I accepting? Why do I have to accept? So contemplation, then reflection, then you apply, assimilation. So when you apply, then Krishna says, Jnana Vijnanam Sahitam Jad Getta, then you will understand. Getta here means comprehend, thoroughly understand. Moksha se Ashubhat. All your inauspicious life or whatever you don't want in this world will disappear or transform to good. Moksha means you will be literally above three modes. You will be in this world, but you will be all internally, you will be in spiritual world. In other words, you will contact to pure goodness. So this is the first verse, started with this. So then Krishna said, then Arjuna asked, why is this knowledge that you're going to give me so special, so confidential? Why? Krishna answered, it is the king of knowledge. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Once you know that, you'll be delivered. You will be purified. Purified means you will cut down the material attraction. The affinity to enjoy separately from God will disappear slowly, slowly. This is called purification. Then you will feel natural attraction to follow God, to um, surrender. That's why it is the king of knowledge. Raja Vidya. Raja means king, Vidya means knowledge. Raja Guyam, and it is the most confidential, king of all secret. Guyam means also purifier. And you can directly realize through personal experience, righteous, joyful practice, imperishable. And Krishna went on. It's interesting that Arjuna asked another question. We can relate. Everything Arjuna asked, we can relate in our day-to-day life. So then he asked, okay, I am non-envious to you, so you are revealing to me. And everybody, whoever is non-envious to God, and you will reveal to him. That's nice. How do you measure somebody's non-envy or envy? How do you measure? It's very interesting. If you look at this third verse, Krishna says, because everything I say, you will have a faith on my word. Those who are envious, they will not have faith. So, dear devotees, we can check ourselves. Do we believe everything Krishna is saying? Do we act on it? If we have that faith, that means we believe. That means we are not envious. So then Arjuna asks, okay, if somebody don't believe everything you said and somebody don't have faith or they're envious, you can say either one, what will be their destiny? So Krishna says, asaddha dhana purusha, dharma shasya parantapa, aprapamam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. So if you don't have a faith on my word, means you are envious to me, then you will be in this material world life after life, taking birth and death and old age and disease. So who is in the material world? Those who don't have faith and envious. And this is what Krishna consciousness philosophy boils down to. Asraddha dhana purusha dharma shasya parantama aprapamam nivartante. Aprapamam nivartante means you'll never get God. You will go far, far away. Of course, Prabhus and mothers, we are not going to judge everybody. Oh my God, they are in this material world because they are envious, they don't have faith. Well, in tattva, in truth, yes, it is. But we don't tell them that because they really don't want to see you ever or talk to you. But we should know what Krishna is revealing, it's a fact. So this way, the discussion went on and on and on and on until came to a point that Krishna, that today's text 29 is one of the famous verse also that we must remember. We should remember that verse. And so just to have a little refresh, Krishna revealed in previous few texts, if you look at it, today's text is 29. I would like somebody to help me to read that. So Krishna says here that those who worship other gods, demigods, or any gods, they also worship me because actually everything is conducted by me. But they don't know that they are worshiping actually me. So then Arjuna asks, okay, everybody is worshipping different God. Is there any problem? Krishna says, yes, there is a problem. That they will be with that God temporary relationship. Temporary relationship. There will be a day after billion, trillion years or whatever, because we are calculating from here, there will be annihilation. They will disappear, that God will disappear, the planet will disappear, and you will also come back as a soul, back to zero, start again. So Krishna says it is temporary, and ultimate benefit they will not get. So therefore, I'm suggesting that you should know the truth. Then question came, are you equal to everyone? So this is beginning of this today's text. Anybody would like to read text 29?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll be glad to, if it's okay.
Yes, Ajit Prabhu, nice to hear from you.
Prabhu, thank you. Unless Kamya Bhai wanted to do it, did you want to?
No, go ahead, Prabhu, it's okay.
Okay. Text 29, chapter 9. Samo aham sarva bhuteshu name dveso astina priya ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite tesu chapi aham. Word to word. Sama, equally disposed. Aham, I. Sarva bhutesu, sarva bhutesu, to all living entities. Na, no one. Me, me, to me. Dveshya, hateful. Asti, is. Na, nor. Priya, dear. Ye, those who. Bhajanti, rendered transcendental service. To, but. Mam, unto me. Bhaktya, in devotion. My are in me. Te, such person. Tesu, in them. Cha, also. Api, certainly. Aham, certainly. Aham, I. Translation. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Purport. One may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is his special friend, then why does he take a special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not discrimination, it is natural. Any man in this material world may be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity, in whatever form, is his son, and so he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. He's just like a cloud. He's just like a cloud. He's just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on rock or land or whatever, or water. But for his devotees, he gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendentally situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists situated in him. The Lord says here distinctively, my te, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This also explains the word ye yatha mam prapadhyante tam tathava bhajami aham. Whoever surrenders unto me, proportionately I take care of him. The transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotees are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter And when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond, and so this combination is very nice. Living entities in a pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotee. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme and the living entity, but in the personality philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desired tree, and whatever one wants from the desired tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is a manifestation of the Lord's special mercy to the devotee. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. Haribol.
Thank you. That's very nice. Of course, all of you probably thinking, well, some people ask in earthly conflict as depicted in Mahabharata, as Prabhupada mentioned here, why Krishna or God takes sides? Is he being partial? And of course, the answer is no. Then what will be the understanding? How we can take it at our level? He is simply being responsible and reciprocal. What I mean by that means, suppose a thief attacks a law-abiding citizen. If the police take the side of the law-abiding citizen, are they being partial? No. They're simply being responsible. After all, they are duty-bound to uphold the law. This is what police does, even in Florida, everywhere. So if they did not intervene to uphold the law, lawbreaker would become increasingly brazen and criminal. And law abider would lose heart and stop abiding by the law. So both way we can see that society would become lawless and end up ruined. So what applies for upholding law also applies for upholding virtue. I remember reading in Mahabharata how it elaborately described that Pandava were unflinchingly virtuous, religious, very pious. How the Kauravas were unconsciously vicious. If the Kauravas were not curbed, their influence would make people also vicious. And society degraded. If the, say, Pandava were not protected, people would lose inspiration to become virtuous. And the predominance of vice and eclipse of virtue would spell disaster for society. So to prevent the hegemony of vice over virtue, Prabhupada writes this in Bhishma Dev's chapter, first canto, 9th chapter, that the Lord descend to the world. When he takes the Pandava side, he is being responsible, not partial. Any one of you ever heard of any pastime that demons went to the Lord and Lord did not help? No. The point is they never go to God for help. They figure out on their own. They want God to supply what they need, what they want, not to follow him, but to fulfill their desire. So that's possible. Ravana did that. Many people, until today, some people goes to temple, church, synagogue, just to fulfill their own desire. So Lord wants to not just uphold law, but also to reciprocate love. And for helping him establish virtue in society. Some courageous soul are ready to stick to virtue, even when threatened by vice. Appreciating their courage and devotion, Krishna, you will find many cases, reciprocates lovingly and empower them, and also disempower their opponents. Now, if you say, why is there let's look at an example. In Rajasuya Yajna, the Pandavas and Kauravas, they were not enemy as they approached the war, but I'm talking 50 years before. 50 years before, they had a Rajasuya, big ceremony, worldwide, actually universal. All these great sages, ruler of different planet, all the demigods came there because Krishna was there. So Yudhishthira Maharaj told Krishna, we should give some responsibility to everybody so that nobody feel any monopoly from our side or nobody feel any envy. So Krishna says, why not? So he gave a job like Duryodhan. Duryodhan, he made a cashier in Rajasuya Yajna. Cashier means handles all the gifts that coming in. Billions of people came, demigods. They brought gift because Krishna will be here, and Yudhishthira Maharaj will be enthroned as the supreme royal position. You can say Samrat, emperor, like that. So, and end of the ceremony, after everybody took prasadam and everybody, Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj said goodbye, Krishna also said goodbye to them. They give a little donation. It's a customary when some spiritual personality come to your house, you give a little dakshina, means some traveling expenses, their needs. So you give a little money in an envelope like that. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, because it was millions of people, sages, Vyasdev, everybody came. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was like, write a little note, give him 500 rupees. Those days, not rupees, it was like coins. So but I'm going to use that example just to understand. So Yudhishthira Maharaj would write 5,000 rupees to this person. 500 dollar, because you all are in America. So this sage would, as he is walking by, there's a treasury house, and then you have to pass by. So they welcome you. Thank you for coming. Let me see your note. Okay, give to Duryodhan, who is the head of the treasury for Rajasuya Yajna. He would think, why 500? Give 5,000. Looks like he's more generous than Yudhishthira. No, he had an intention that he wants to run out of money and embarrass Yudhishthira's position. Because if you say, I want to give you $1,000 donation, and when time comes, you say, I'm sorry, I don't have any money. Oh, that's not good. Why did you promise you'll give $1,000 donation? You didn't have to promise. You should know how much you have. It's a courtesy. So he was trying to embarrass. Nobody knew. But Krishna knows. Well, only few thousand passed. And Duryodhana sent a note. The treasury house is empty. Everything gone. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj, he's never worried because Krishna is with him. So he said, my lord, treasure house is empty. How is this? I didn't send so many people. I just, reflected each person's and going little, and then, but it's empty. Krishna says, I know why. Because he's showing that he's more kind than you and he wants to embarrass you. That at the end, the senior demigod like Shiva or other, they will get some gift and you will not have anything left. But do not worry. So Yudhishthira Maharaj says, what should I do? He said, don't worry. I'm here. I'm supporting you. That's all we need. Krishna's support in our spiritual life. That's all. So said, tell him, open the back door. So all of a sudden, there is a back door in the treasury house. They open the back door. Oh my Lord, there's a huge treasury. Millions of gold coin and all this. Duryodhana is thinking, where these come from? We had no idea. Okay. So he started, but he didn't change. He is again doing the same thing, trying to put Yudhishthira Maharaj in embarrassment. So he's giving, okay, come $500, he's giving 5,000, $1,000, $10,000. He's overriding. He really wants to embarrass Yudhishthira Maharaj, even because he doesn't want Yudhishthira to be the emperor of the world. It happened, he ran out again. After many hours, thousands and thousands of sages, king, demigod, they're going by, but they're taking some gift. It's not just dollar, but different gifts, made of gold, this, that. But he ran out again. And this time he made sure there is no back gate or any other sources. So he sent a note, Yudhishthira Maharaj. We ran out again. Now this time he's embarrassed because there are many great sages, saintly person are waiting to get the gift, but I cannot give. I don't feel like I want to be there. Maybe you can come and apologize. He read like this. So Yudhishthira Maharaj went to Krishna again. Vasudev, they call Krishna Vasudev. Vasudev, I'm in trouble. He said, no trouble. He's trying to embarrass you, I understand. But go send a note that look at the back gate again. There's another back gate. We have a unlimited treasury. Now he made sure there was no back gate, but then when he got this note, he looked at it. Then he talked to his assistant. He said, how come there's a back gate? How come we missed that? Maybe we didn't look at it properly. Then Krishna comes. Krishna told Duryodhana, you're doing a good job, but don't try to do embarrassment or cheating. Follow what Yudhishthira, how much he wants to give to others. Did Duryodhana follow? No. Now this is where it comes to the point that we have some psychophysical nature, or you can say assumed nature, contamination from this world, but we do not want to rectify. Then how we will ever get purified? We'll never get purified. It is we have to make a decision. I want to be a better person. I want to be a good devotee. I want to be kind to others. Krishna is giving facility to Duryodhana for him to look at it. Look, if you stay with devotee like Yudhishthira, if you stay with me, you will have no problem. But Duryodhana learning, he doesn't want to learn. He always have an evil nature to how to hurt others, how to hurt especially competitor, especially devotee and others. Now, how he is going to change, we don't know. You can look at it, That's why this question raised, is God partial or impartial? They even asked the question to Prabhupada. A reporter, not devotee, reporter asked, are you impartial to all your disciples? Wow, what a nice question. I would never probably ask that because we have a different culture. But that reporter asked, Western reporter. Prabhupada said, yes, I am impartial to all my disciples. Then after a few minutes, he says, but some disciples are taking a lot of responsibility. They want to help me in the distribution of Krishna consciousness, and they're taking so much risk. So they have many questions, they communicate with me a lot, and it will appear that I am more favorable to those. Because then Prabhupada said, because they are coming forward, they are taking a lot of risk to help me in this movement. So it will, anybody can do that. Now, Prabhupada did not say he's not kind to everybody. He's kind to everybody, but whoever is coming forward to help him, they are getting his association and getting empowerment. Is that the fault of Prabhupada or is the fault of the people who doesn't come to him? So I'm glad Prabhupada gave us such a wonderful answer. Similarly, if I ask all of you, how do you feel? If you say you have a 6 brother, sister, just I'm throwing a number, and your parents are partial to some of your siblings. Like in Bible, Old Testimony, there is a beautiful story. I remember I read many years back, maybe 15, 20 years back I read, but it's still there fresh in my head about life of Joseph. If anybody, I think Charles or anybody came from background, Kaylee is here, you may heard that story in Old Testimony that Joseph, not Jesus' father, I'm talking about in Old Testimony, there's a beautiful pastime that Joseph, how he became the prime minister of Pharaoh of Egypt. He was born as a poor, in a poor family, and he had a few siblings. But the parents, they used to love. What did you say, Charles? My dad is partial to me. Be careful, don't tell your siblings. Thank you, Charles. So Joseph's parents were actually very favorable, partial to the youngest Joseph. But Joseph was such a great soul, even though he was a little boy, he never kind of partial or impartial. He was always being very peaceful, equipoised, very generous, and he never had a resentment. Some of his brother, sister, this is in Bible, the story you can read. I remember very clearly, I read with all my family members one time. And his brother, sister were so envious. They could not take it anymore. They said, our parents loves this younger brother. Why? We're going to damage something. We'll do something horrible. So they took, those days, Prabhus and mothers, there were not shopping mall for shopping. Those days, there were businessmen called Islamite. They are called Islamite. They would travel from country to country, village to village, town to town, and they are the one carries goods in their camel cart, camel like a kind of like a bullock cart, not, I mean, some kind of like a car pulled by the camel, and they would go to one country to another country and they trade, and they would come back to their country, and they are like they had a free pass. The whole Babylonian culture, I studied history on that, whole Babylonian culture was ruled by the Islamite, and they were the main media. They didn't have a telephone or anything, but they had some idea. I'll come after that many days or months or like this. So they would go from one town to another town, another country, another country. So when Islamite came to the town, Joseph's elder brothers, They got so envy because parents loved their youngest brother too much. So took the brother, hey, let's go. We are going to go. So Joseph went with him. And they actually sold Joseph to the Islamite. And then they took some clothes of Joseph and tainted with the blood of goat. Some sheep was cut, goat was cut. They tainted the blood. And they brought these clothes back to the house. And they did not tell anything to the parent. They said, I think something horrible happened. That we went near this forest and we saw our younger brother were like running there, and we went there to bring him back, but we found he was not there. We did find some ferocious animal, and this is the clothes he was wearing. Now, seeing this blood-tainted cloth, parents cried and cried and cried. Who to blame? You cannot blame anybody because he went on his own. Days pass by, month pass by, parents are still depressed. One time, so what happened? Islamite took this boy Joseph. And those days they used to sell. I mean, you can sell human being those days. It was legal. Not anymore in the world nowadays, but those days were legal. So they took, but then this Islamite was asking him, hey, I'm going to do this trade. Do you have any idea? Do you know what trade is? He said, no, I don't have idea. He said, okay, what do you think I should do? Should I sell for this? And he would actually give some advice. And this Islamite saw, oh my God, he's genius, even though he's a little boy. So he thought, I'm not going to sell him. I'm going to keep him in my house. I like him. I think he should travel with me and I'll become very rich very quick, because the idea he has is like fantastic. So, of course, he's a slave. I don't know if you understand slavery, but that's how it is. But you have some idea. I don't have idea either slavery. We hear, the slavery was in America too. Abraham Lincoln and all this. Anyway, so back to this. So then what happened at one point, the Islamite went to Egypt. When he went to Egypt, that time, that Pharaoh, he says, call all the Islamite that passing by our country, Egypt. I want them to translate this dream I had, because those days the Pharaoh of Egypt would run the country by the dream. It's interesting. By the dream he would have, and somebody would translate what would happen. So he had a dream. This is a true story in Bible. And there is a dream that 7 years would be the flourishing, joyful, the vegetation, minerals, everything that the people need, it will be double, triple. The land will give so much produce. But after 7 years, there will be drought. And that drought will last another 7 years. And majority people will die. So he had a happiness that 7 years will have a double, triple the product, produces grains, minerals, whatever they need. But after that, there will be danger. So he's asking different minister in his court, the Pharaoh, what should I do? I know my dream is true. It is going to come. It is going to happen. So they gave a different idea. They could not come up with the best idea. The Pharaoh was convinced. So they send the information to Islamite. Do you know any intelligent person anywhere? You go to different country. We need somebody to dictate or translate this dream, what they understood. So finally, one person, this one Islamite says, maybe I should bring that young man. Of course, by that time, he became a young man. After many years, he was staying with Islamite. And Islamite saw that his idea is like super. He became already rich, but he would keep him dungeon, like underground lockup, because he's a slave. So finally he thought, well, Pharaoh will give me a big prize. Why not I take my guy? So he took Joseph and he told Joseph, I will take you to see the Pharaoh and you answer him what question he has. So then he revealed to this Islamite, introduced Joseph. He's a young man to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh says the whole dream he had about 7 years, good 7 years, bad. Then this boy, Joseph, he says, this is wonderful. Pharaoh said, how is wonderful? Because I see a future glory of you. He said, how do you see it? He said, next 7 years from today, you will have flourishing kingdom, grains, produces, everything. So you have to make arrangement how to save it to an extent. Nobody enjoy extra. They enjoy just like the way they did last so many years. No extra, but there will be extra produce, extra mineral, and they will just save it in the treasury house. Because when the bad time comes, the 7 years, that time you can survive with those food grains and minerals and whatever needed, salt, sugar, all this sugar cane. But you need to save everything more because all the neighbor country, they will have nothing. The disease will kill them. They will be starving so badly, they will attack your country. That time you can become a loving father instead of killing them. You give them shelter. Then automatically you take over their country. You become like a gentle, loving father. Pharaoh will be glorified. When Pharaoh heard this, he said, none of my minister ever said something that I will be glorified and my glory will go. Who is this boy? So then Islamite introduced, I bought him, slave. He's a slave. He said, today I make him my private secretary and prime minister of Egypt. Instantly in that incident, he became the prime minister of Egypt. So then, after 7 years, everything happened. Pharaoh followed him, as he said, and he stayed. He's now prime minister. He's no more slave. So then, after 7 years, when the drought started, oh, the neighbor country in Middle East, Babylon culture was a horrible. Give me 1 second, sir. Then Joseph said, my Lord Pharaoh, please show your mercy to them. People are starving all the countries. They are going to attack you. But they're not attacking you because you have all the food, you have a best life. They don't have anything. Their country is completely poverty stricken, drought, kill people. Whoever is desperately coming, give them shelter. They can stay in their country, but it's going to be your country. So he started doing this. Then all of a sudden, in the middle of this big line in different places, distribution of food and this, that. And the Prime Minister, Joseph, he would go. So, and at one point, he noticed some people in the line from another country. He sent the soldier, he said, bring that family of 7. Tell them, Prime Minister, I want to see them. So when the soldier went there, they brought him. They brought this 7, and that 7 thought, oh my God, Prime Minister going to kill. Who is this Prime Minister? We are just here for food and we are dying. Well, we don't know. They are very much anxiety. But then they brought him to royal place, royal palace, Prime Minister palace. And they are waiting. Finally, Prime Minister Joseph comes. He said, do you all remember me? Hello, parents. This is your youngest child, Joseph. They were like, he looks like, but he's like a big royal dress. And the brothers are like panic. You can imagine. Oh my God. How did this happen? Is he going to now tell the truth and kill us because we sold him to the Islamite? Then he told the brothers, don't worry. You did a biggest favor to me. Favor? There was no favor. They are thinking. He said, instinctively, I never oppose whatever God has sanctioned. I know there is a higher purpose because God is loving to all of us. I never oppose. I never found any deplorable situation or a danger. I always found very harmonious, loving life. If he did not sell me to the Islamite, and the parents are listening and they're like shocked, I would not become a prime minister today of Egypt. So you actually gave my destiny where it is taking. Future also is done by God. I have a trust on God all the time. Because I trust God, whatever is happening, I'm taking it, embracing it. I never found any problem in life. So because you have done so much favor and you both are my parents, you can live in this palace. This is yours. You can enjoy life very nicely. So it's very interesting. Can we all take like this, that everything happening is sanctioned by God is for good purpose? If we can, we will be joyful and victory in this world. That doesn't mean we will remain foolish. We have to act intelligently. He was not foolish. He was very intelligent, very thoughtful. So I'm looking at it. It's already 1 hour past. I have another class, that ashram class. So Prabhus and Mothers, thank you so much for joining this session. We'll continue this sloka. I'm not going to go to the next sloka because this sloka itself so important. We should always think Krishna is impartial. Krishna sanctions everything happening in our life. What is the reason? We should turn towards him, then our problem is solved. He has a purpose, and the purpose is always good, but may not be immediately good, ultimate good. So with that note, I'll end here. Anybody has any takeaway, one point? Otherwise, we'll close here. Okay, none of you has. So I'll close here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpataru Vishya Kripa Sindhu Beva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Srila Prabhupada